Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. Is it? Oh, it's July 30th. Still not quite August yet. July is hanging on for a little bit longer. I wasn't really quite sure what day it is, but it is definitely a Friday. And we're back in Iowa. We've spent, I think less than 24 hours in Chicago. Just had to take one of the kids in for a quick checkup. We got some more doctor's appointments and stuff going on, so we'll be bouncing back and forth. But sorry about not having a live stream yesterday, but we're here today. And I am clean shaven. I'm having a very hard time getting used to it. I'm just gonna not look at myself today because every time I look in the mirror, every time I see myself, it just looks so strange. I'm sure it's the same way for you guys too. I'm having a hard time with it. I'm starting to get accustomed to it, but it's definitely weird. So hopefully you guys can manage. For those of you on the podcast, that won't be a problem for you guys because you're only hearing it. But hopefully, as you're listening to this podcast, hope you guys are having a good run. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you have a nice recovery beverage for you. That it's at the time of the day where you can relax a little bit. I've got a fresh cup of coffee, so very excited for the day here. All right, let's see who we got in the chat. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says the secret to not getting busy with work and forgetting to join the live stream is to connect early and leave it up so it just starts. Yeah, so I have been realizing that some of you guys do that. So I've been trying to set it up a little bit early, but I also try not to set it up too early because then I feel like it shows up in your feeds or something like that, or depending on how you're watching, if you're looking at it on the phone, it might get buried in your feed and then might become harder to find. So I try to find the right balance of exactly where I'm going to put it in there. All right. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says, hello everyone. Sorry about the bike frustration. I was just talking to a bike messenger yesterday who said people were having to put money down now to buy bikes in 2022. Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. It makes 100% sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to me at all. So it's an unfortunate situation, and that's what today's video is about, my frustrations about trying to buy a bike in 2021, where I feel like it shouldn't be a problem anymore, but it clearly still is. But yeah, and a lot of people have been really helpful with tips on where to look next. And people have even offered up some of their own bikes too, which has been really, really nice, but totally unnecessary. I'll manage. I have a bike. That's the thing. I have one. It's perfectly fine. I'm trying to get a better one or more suitable one. But if I don't, I'll totally be fine. So I appreciate all you guys, at least empathizing with me, and tolerating me and humoring me as I kind of figure out what I think everyone else already knew. So I'm kind of late to the party. And Jeff Elliott also says, I think I'm just going to get a trainer in a few months, the Wahoo Kicker, and then upgrade the bike in the spring. Hopefully they'll be stocked by then, at least with Canyon, if not local. Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of thinking about the idea that I don't know where I'd put a Wahoo Kicker. Or the Wahoo, the big bike that they have, the bike trainer, instead of having to buy a bike, just be able to buy the Wahoo thing. Because I think I like Zwift riding more than I like outside riding. Maybe. I think it's because of my lack of experience. And I'm not having gone on a group ride before. So, but, I think the indoor virtual experience is pretty good. I liked it. So, yeah. All right, Garrett says, finally made a live stream this week. I have to take off early to head to work. All right, no problem, Garrett. Good to see you. Teddy Jordan says, I was writing a question to Run Like Heller for her next Q&A video. And he was going to write, would you like for Kofuzi to shave? And then once I finished posting the question, scroll down in YouTube answers, saw Kofuzi's latest thumbnail. Yeah. I know some of you guys wanted me to put it up to a poll and stuff, but I thought I would do it. The funny thing is, everyone at home was like, yeah, go shave it. Although my wife is pretty non-committal about stuff like that. And so she's like, whatever you like. But I think she wanted me to get rid of it. But then after I shaved, my daughter was still like, yes, it looks great. Stay not shaved. But then the baby, and I think my wife, but I think my baby speaks for the both of them. She's like, Daddy, you need to grow a mustache back. You look better like that. So I don't know. I feel really weird looking like this without the mustache. So I don't know if I'll bring back the full handlebars, but I think something needs to get back on there. All right. Frank Lilly says, the greatest suffer videos of all time. 3, Seth doing the Run Rabbit Run. That was a tough one. That was an epic video. And then 2, Anna from the running channel on Tribes Run for Love. And then 3, Mike looking for a bike. That's funny. That's funny. I don't think I've seen the Tribes Run for Love video before. But you know what I have been enjoying from the running channel? They've definitely gone like the Top Gear route, where they even have like the producers bringing them new challenges or twists to their challenges. But they've had that new runner, Sarah. Is that her name, Sarah? They had her do like the Monopoly board challenge, and then she did a 5K. And now I haven't seen it yet, but they had her do a trail run. So like, I've been enjoying those. So those have been fun to watch. I've been enjoying a lot of the running channel lately. All right, Thomasville says, hello everyone. He's on help desk today. Might not be able to join, but have a great weekend and run, everyone. Awesome. Well, hopefully it's a quiet day on the help desk, Thomas. Robert Hodges here. What's going on, Rob? And Frank says, I'll send you my bike, Mike, but it's fixed gear and I can't take a rear brake, so I don't think it would be race legal. Oh yeah, I suppose that there are probably rules about stuff like that. I hadn't thought of that. Not that I would go to a bike, to a triathlon with a fixie. Although like that is one of the kinds of bikes that is like somewhat available in the city anyway. All right, Robert says he's got his first chip time race ever on August 14th. He's been training hard and confident to land a huge PR. Well, if it's your first chip time race, it's a guaranteed PR. It'd be cool to place, but I'm not going to worry about it. Awesome, Robert. Well, good luck to you. Well, I'm sure it'll remind us as we get closer so we can send you off with some good wishes. All right. Aaron Davis is here, says, I just ordered that co-signature shirt. How have I missed that until now? Well, that's awesome, Aaron. You know what? I didn't notice which co-signature shirt are you talking about, Aaron? Oh, the one right below the video. Yeah, because like Jeff was wondering if it's a Path Project one, and I think the Path Project one's been sold out for a while. But I do have a signature shirt, just a white T-shirt with the word Kofuzi on it, and it is in the shop, like the Teespring shop, like below the video here. And you know, I was looking through my. Sorry, the wind is blowing like the curtain that's over here, and it's blowing the laptop. It's another janky setup for today. But I've been thinking that I took off a lot of the stuff that was in that Teespring store because I'm not a huge fan of Teespring overall, like the overall experience. I want more from it, you know? So like I have like maybe 1 or 2 things that are still left in there, but I definitely need to do a redesign of some stuff. Hopefully there's some new products that are available. And I was also looking through my t-shirt drawer yesterday and I was like, you know what else needs to do a redesign of their merch? Everybody. Because like I guess maybe I don't look at their people's merch store that often, but like everyone's t-shirts, TFXC, Run Like Heller, Seth, Jameson had one at one point, you know, I don't know if his is still up. Triathlon Tarrant, like I know he's got new motive stuff, but I don't know if he has new stuff on Teespring. I guess I just got to look, but I was like, all the shirts that I have from everybody are faded. And I'm like, I need new ones. So maybe I need to go back and order another round of stuff. All right, let me scroll down because I'm sure I'm behind you guys. So I want to keep up with you guys. If you guys wrote a running question or had any other question in there, feel free to repeat it. Sorry to make you repeat yourselves, but I want to make sure you guys get an answer. All right, Kiefer says, yo, Broseph, just skimmed through the bike. You're buying a bike video. I actually ordered one from Wiggle in the UK 2 weeks ago, and it arrives Monday. Just something to think about. I don't know what Wiggle is. We don't have Wiggle here. Oh, but Kiefer, you're in the US, right? So, interesting. I'll have to look at Wiggle. What is Wiggle? All right. Kashra Eskandari says, have you watched Dominion? It would change your life. It's about love. I have not watched Dominion. I don't watch much of anything. When I have TV on, it's a lot of time at home, it's news. When we're here at Grandma's house, it's usually Lakefront Bargain Hunt. I'm a big fan of that show. Or we watch whatever else is on HGTV. We watch a lot of that. Lately, it's been Olympics that are on during the day. But the Olympics that are on during the day are not the Olympics that I want to be watching, generally speaking. No disrespect to water polo or like pool play in men's volleyball. But there's other stuff that I want to be watching. But I think all the stuff that I want to watch is coming on prime time later tonight. So I'll probably watch it then. So I've been trying to stay away from Twitter as well, because that's where all the spoilers are. But, for me, it's like, even if there's spoilers, I'll still watch the race anyway. Because it's the Olympics. All right. Luis Becerra says, if the Walmart bike is not good enough, maybe you should upgrade to a Target bike. Okay, maybe REI. Well, I feel like REI sells real bikes, don't they? Not that Walmart bikes and Target bikes are not real, but yeah. HSW says, how are you watching the Olympic Games? Yeah. Here at Grandma's house, we get Olympics on the NBC affiliate and then on USA. At home, we have a couple more options on our cable package. And I guess I could stream those from here to watch on my computer. But like, if it hasn't been, here I'm watching the kids, taking them to the pool and stuff. So it's been kind of hard to catch. So the evening is usually I just kind of watch the evening kind of recap. Terry says, Wiggle is a UK bike dealer. Highly recommend. Okay, maybe I'll take a look. Amit Singh, Mammy says, had my 800-meter race on Tuesday and hoping to break 2 minutes. Woo, that's blazing fast. Have you ever ran the 800? Yes, the 800 used to be my event in high school, early high school, like junior high even. So like when I was like 12, 11, so like 30 years ago. I think my fastest time was, I want to say like 240. I don't know. Whenever I don't know a number, I put a 43 at the end of it. So like, I think my marathon finishing time was like 4:43, my first ever marathon. And I think my marathon, which was 7 years later, I think it was like a 3. '51 or maybe 1951. I actually don't know. It was a long, long time ago. Scott wants to know, so what is the best way to know that a shoe needs to be retired? The best way to know is if you go for a run in it and you start to just feel like little aches and pains from it that you've never felt before and that don't have any other real explanation. So let's say like you normally run 30 miles a week, and then you take this one pair of shoes out for a run, and all of a sudden, like the pads of your heel feel a little bit tender after the run, or maybe your knee starts to feel like a little bit kind of achy, and you have an increased intensity, you have an increased mileage. That's a signal that your shoes need to go. So that's what I would say. All right. M. Schindler says, I'm thinking about running the Frankfurt Marathon as my first one. Is there anything you wish you'd known before running your first? For me, in my personal experience, is I ran the Baltimore Marathon for my first race, and it's very hilly. And I did not know that ahead of time. So I would look at the elevation profile for your race. And that's the first thing that I would check out to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. And I guess the other really important thing to keep in mind is you're going to want to run a lot slower than you think you should in the beginning. That's the key to having a great time in the marathon. All right. Let's see. Wen Zhongtan says, did you watch the 10,000 meter in the Olympics? I saw the results because I was on Twitter for a little bit today, even though I just told you guys that I've been trying to avoid it. I can't help myself. So I was on Twitter for a little bit. So I did see the results, and I saw basically I saw the last lap. But I think it's going to be on TV tonight. And I think Kara Goucher's calling of the race will be played in the evening. I think people that watched the stream in real time got a different announcer. So I think that's my understanding. So I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight. I mean, I know who won. So John Ader says the 10K was fun. Yeah. And Jeff Elliott says the women's football/soccer game between the U.S. and Netherlands this morning was pretty exciting. Yeah, I did watch some of that today. Man, those offsides at the end, real killer. But yeah, that was a good game. Martha says, hi, everyone. Can't stay too long because I just got back from 16-miler. First since 2020, B marathon canceled. Ooh, the leg didn't want to go 16. Normal? The endorphin speed OG might right outsole back lateral corner check. Ooh, okay. All right. Right outsole back lateral corner check. Okay. Cool. All right. That's a nice long run. I ran in the endorphin speed 2 for the first time today. And I really enjoyed them, but I'm not sure I could tell the difference between the endorphin speed 2 and the endorphin speed 1. It's the same shoe, right? So I don't know. They didn't mess with a good thing, I guess. That's what tomorrow's video will be about. All right. David Collins says the CBC coverage is cool because they show sports that don't include our national team. Yeah, you're not going to see anything in the U.S. that doesn't have an American in it. That's kind of the way we do things here, for sure. Vincent Venera says, hello, friends. What's going on, Vincent? And Andre, YouTube says, Frankfurt is a flat and fast, nice course. Oh, that sounds very pleasant. Very nice. Chris Dyke says, it's nice to finally see some track events at the Olympics. I think everyone's, well, at least my Twitter's been super excited about it, but my Twitter is all running people. Well, for the most part. There's some like kind of political-y stuff on there too, but that I like to follow. But a lot of my feed is runners. So everyone's like, yeah, the real events. I'm like, they're all real events. Just don't care about some of them. And I really care about some of the other ones. But I agree generally with the kind of the sentiment. All right. Lacho says, my go-to guy for shoe reviews. Thanks, Lacho. Good to see you here. Welcome to the live stream. And Brian E says, there's a pretty good article about Olympic speed versus distance runners. Nobody likes running the 800 meters, and it sits in the middle ground between sprint and endurance. I think that's what makes it one of the most difficult events on the track, because you're basically running 400 speed twice. You know, like the people that are good at that are the people that can basically run as fast as they run a 400. I would say, in my opinion, the two most difficult or most grueling events on the track would be the 800 and the 400 meter hurdles. Those are just utter pain. It's like just full red line the entire time. And there's just like, yeah, you're gonna go, you're gonna go into a deep dark place when you're about to line up for either of those races. So hard. I have so much respect. I mean, any of the track athletes, but for sure. But like, there's just a different kind of. You got to be able to access some demons to if you're gonna race in any of those races. All right. Wicked World ASL Rock says, have you ever considered viewing trail gators? I mean, I haven't, and I probably won't, because most of the trails that I run don't require gators. So like, I mean, I don't even know like when would be a good time to have them, I guess. And I don't go to places that would need them. I would have a hard time figuring out how to review them properly, I think. David Callan wants to know, it was just an upper update only on the endorphin line, correct? Yeah. And as far as the speed is concerned, not much of an upper update at all either. I'm going to have to really like look at that thing closely to figure out what they did differently. There's a couple of things that are cosmetic that I think are different. Maybe they're structural. I don't know. But like, this is really a shoe that like they could have just done nothing to it. They could have just kept releasing new colors of the same one, kind of like they did for the Next Percent for a little while, like for like a year and a half. They just kept releasing new colors before they made the Next Percent 2, because the shoe was really great as it was. So, all right, I think we got Remy here. Oh, Remy's here popping in to say hello. Who's the Shave Dude? If you're seeing the Shave Dude, you are in the Bizarro live stream and you got to refresh to get to the correct one. Greg says, your dark background scares me. I'm waiting for one of your kids to pop up and scare us all. Yeah, sometimes I put the lights on back there. Sometimes I don't. It's just really hard. Like the lighting conditions in here are kind of tough. So you could tell when like the sun comes out, it's getting a little bit brighter now. There's a window like right back there that starts to let some more light in and stuff like that. So it's changing. But I'm using the MacBook built-in webcam, so it's not the greatest quality. I apologize for that. Amit Singh, Memi says, really wanted Mohammed Ahmed, the Canadian, to be a finalist in the 10K race, but he fell back in the end. Oh, it's too bad. All right, Martha says, Kofuzi, meant to write, the back lateral corner of my right foot outsole is done. Oh, okay. That makes more sense now on her original endorphin speeds. She's down to the P-backs at mid 100 mile point. That's a drag. That is a drag. And she said, wish they had sturdier patches there. May get version 2 for Boston. I mean, I think that would certainly be worth doing, especially if you've already worn down on that back corner. It is amazing to me and a bit unusual of a decision, I think, to continue to go with such small strips of rubber for that shoe. Like, I do feel like a little patch of rubber in the back right heel would have been a good idea, even if it brought on a little bit of weight. They maybe could have shaved it from something else, you know. So I didn't have a huge problem with it, but I definitely, you know, saw wear in my usual spots on that shoe. Let's see, where did it go? I just saw one. Oh, my mom's here. Hello from New Jersey. Hi, Mom. How are you? Let's see. Scroll up. Jersey Rich says, "Yo, Ko, good to see the spare eyebrows have been removed." Yeah, I miss it. I don't miss the handlebar part because I just felt like when I was bringing the kids to the pool a lot and I was around a lot of other children, it just seems like maybe not the best choice of facial hair to have. You know, it just seems kind of weird. I felt like Ben Stiller's character in Happy Gilmore. So I was like, it's time for a change. But I think just some general scruffiness would be, that may suit me a little bit better. Eric, backing me up on the 800, says an 800 meter is the most difficult event. That and the 400 meter hurdles are most likely to be a religious experience. They're just so hard, such hard events. Oh. Mika Gataya is back. He says, hello all, ran self-supported trail marathon yesterday. Awesome, great work. So he's nursing sore toes today. It was much more technical course than I anticipated, so it took over 5 hours. Hills, swamps, all sorts. Yeah, I can relate to that experience when a trail run goes a lot longer than you thought. I have no idea how to like estimate how long a trail run is going to take. So like, you know, like when I'm running, I have an idea, like a road course or even a hilly road course or a route that I pick. I can kind of figure out like this is how long it's going to take me. 9 minutes per mile, 9.5 minutes per mile if I'm just running it easy, probably. But like when I'm on the trail, I'm like, should I budget 10 minutes per mile, 11, 12? I guess it depends on how long and how hot and how technical. There's so many other variables. It gets away from me frequently. All right. Jim Rowe says, watching live from the office. And his first time at the office since the start of the pandemic. Whoa, well, good luck. Hopefully it's a safe place to be for you. I know that like office reopenings have been happening for a while and are continuing to happen, but I know it's still a very like uncertain kind of time. So hopefully things are going well for you, Jim. All right, going back to the Gators, Mile 62 Running Channel says, Ultra makes the best ones. Don't get any of that wrap under the shoe. That's my opinion. You know, I always felt like, won't they wear out? Because you're going to step right on that. You know, I never understood that, but I don't really understand Gators. I mean, I understand the concept, but like, I've never encountered anything where I was like, oh, I really need a Gator for this run. But maybe that's just my lack of experience. But yeah. Amit Singh, Mami says, what budget running watch would you recommend? Garmin, Coros? I think if you're going to go with the Garmin, I think the 245 is the one to go with. I think if you're going to go with Coros, the Pace 2 is a hard value to beat. So like those two are very good watches. Wicked World ASL Rock says, I've dealt with tongues that always shift to one side on a particular shoe. Any tips? That happens to me with some shoes too, and it's annoying. It doesn't bother me from like a performance perspective, but it's just like visually, it's like, why is that side so like floppy and off center? Some shoes have like the little lace loop that you could lace the shoes, you know, in the tongue. If it doesn't have that, I don't think there's a lot that you can do to kind of fix it, unfortunately. All right, Remy says, not looking past his current race, but the Ironman Atlantic City 2022 is on his birthday weekend. Cole, let's get you a bike and go for 70.3 in Atlantic City. Oh, I would like to race in Atlantic City. That would be kind of fun. And the location's good for me. Going to New Jersey is always like a favorable location. Although I don't think I've actually raced in New Jersey since like high school. So I guess I'm due. But I don't know. Let's see how the swim goes. The bike, I'm really not that concerned about the bike. Either something will work itself out or not, you know, and I'll ride the Walmart bike. But and I'll bring that Walmart bike back to Chicago. We got a hitch put on, a tow package thing, or like a hitch put on the car. Uncle David did that for us last week. I got a bike rack ordered, so I'll be able to transport bikes. The whole family bought bikes while we were back here. So I'm not that worried about the bike. I'm frustrated about the bike, but I'm not worried about it. The swim, still really worried about the swim. What I need to do is I need to try to reach out to someone who's done the Chicago Triathlon before. I'll see like who I know that may have done it and see like how deep is the water. Because I really just feel like I'm going to need to take some standing breaks. Hopefully I could stand there or I don't know, find some other way to rest. Because I'm not going to be able to swim 1,500 meters in one go. I'm pretty confident about that. I don't think I'm being like, you know, negative about it. I think that's the reality, and I need to figure out a way to like find ways to rest or recover, you know. So let's talk after our first race or my first triathlon race. David Prabhu's here. He's getting grabbing a bite. Awesome. Hope everyone's good. Cool. And Ubetra says, bummer on the bike hunt struggles. How tall are you? I'm 5'10". So I think what some people were saying was like they think that I'd probably fit on a 56 centimeter bike. I don't really know what that number means. Other websites have like small, medium, and large frames. I think I'm kind of in between a medium and a large, but I'm probably better fit on a medium for some bikes that are sized. I don't even see, that's the thing. I don't even know how bikes are sized. So like when I see like a listing on Craigslist, the numbers that people rattle off, I'm like, I don't even know what numbers those are. So is that a tiny bike? Is it giant? I have no idea. Carlo sang along says, Heiko, double take to make sure I land at the right live stream. You are at the right live stream for today. If you're not sure, just hit refresh F5 and then you'll be at the right one. Brandon Lau says, hi man, love your videos. Looking to get a new watch for running. Best watch for under $300. Under $300. I would say probably the Coros Pace 2. I think that's $249, am I right? Or $295? So I think that's right there. That's probably the one that I would pick. And Adam Fierce says, when running trails for training but not racing, run by time, not distance. Yeah, I know, but the thing is, Adam, so like I'll look at a park or like a state park or something like that, or a trail map, and I'll say like, all right, can I run on this entire loop? And I'll be like, all right, this part here is like 5 miles, this part is 3, and that part's 2. So it's like 10 miles on the trail. How long is that going to take me? You know, so that's what I'm kind of figure out. I'd rather not, when I'm running a trail, running out and back. I do it on the roads frequently. At home in Chicago, that's all I do is run out and backs. But like when I'm on a trail, I want to do a loop of some sort. Maybe I need to get over that because that's probably the better way for me to correctly estimate my running time. Deborah Paul says, I never know when I'm getting home when I hit the trails. I just hope not to get lost. I can relate to that entire thing for sure. All right, let's scroll down here. Scott says the New Jersey Marathon is on 10/17. I think that's the weekend after Chicago, so I will not likely be in a shape to run another marathon. I think I have a 5K scheduled for that day. Not a hard 5K, just all right. I think that's the weekend of Greg Itahara. Is Greg still here? Has a race, the Lou Blonde 5K. So I think that I'm going to be doing that one this year. But there's another one. Is it in Asbury Park? There's another one that keeps coming up on lists for like Boston qualifiers because it's flat and fast and the location's good. And I'm guessing like that one pops up a lot because I think a lot of the Runners World riders are in New York and it's close. It's an easy drive from New York to get there. Jeff Ali says, you've probably already been warned, but don't leave the bike rack on the car, even without bikes. Yeah, I've kind of gathered that from a lot of people. But then I was thinking like, some of them have like the bike, like the locking ones. I think it's just kind of like it has a different kind of bolt. Would you recommend not leaving it on even if it has like the locking nut? And you would need like a different kind of special tool? I mean, I think for most of you need a tool to get the bike rack off the car, but you need an extra special tool to get the locking ones off. But I guess if someone's truly trying to steal your bike racks, even an empty one, they probably have that tool. So, yeah. Remy says, as far as the Atlantic City Triathlon half Ironman goes, the Atlantic City is a saltwater swim. It helps a lot. Does it? I'm trying to think. I mean, I haven't been in saltwater in a long time. And I've certainly never done like an open water swim in salt water before. Huh. Well, all compelling arguments. All compelling arguments. Jesse Starbeck says, do you have a pick for a marathon super shoe if the course is mostly dirt road, assume dry conditions? Tried the Carbon X2 and liked it, but worried the outsole isn't up to the task. The Rocket X? I think the Rocket X certainly work. I ran on a rail trail, so it's like crushed limestone in the Endorphin Speed, a very long distance, and that worked out really great. The other way to look at it is because it's on a dirt road, it's a softer surface, so you can get away with a shoe that you might not otherwise consider to be a marathon shoe. So some shoes that I love running on like really like just flat dirt roads are like the original Carbon Rocket. Do you guys remember that shoe? That shoe is great on rail trails. The Zoom Streak is also great. The shoes like the Speed Elite, the Meta Racer, like those kinds of shoes that I would normally only like take for 10Ks, maybe a half marathon on roads, like regular roads. Those are suddenly options when you run on dirt roads. So that's another way to think of it too. So those are some that stand out. But like, assuming that there aren't like big rocks, not like big rock, but like bigger than pebbles, assuming there isn't stuff like that, I ran the Tunnel Marathon, which is mostly on dirt road, in the next percent, and it was great. So like, there's a lot of options that are available when you've got like flat. Well, I guess you didn't say flat, but if it's mostly dirt road, yeah, there's a lot of options to you. Run for Fun says, have you tried prescription sunglasses or clip-on sunglasses for running, or do you always wear contacts? I always wear contacts because like I do have a pair of prescription sunglasses that I almost never wear. But they're not made for running, but I just have a pair of prescription sunglasses. And like for whatever reason, like if I, not run, but if I've kind of, doing anything active in them, whenever they shake, it makes me really dizzy. And I kind of have, well, I guess I have vertigo. I've been relatively asymptomatic for a while, but I get motion sick very easily. Like if I'm on like swings, like at a playground, I get motion sick within like 2 seconds, or I get dizzy. And so like running with prescription sunglasses makes me feel like the idea of running with prescription sunglasses makes me think that I would get dizzy if I did that. So I always stick with the contacts. But the strange thing is contacts and running sunglasses are fine. That's not a problem for me. So I can't explain why. All right, New Vetra says Thule uses a 12 millimeter bolt, but if you have the locking one, there's an actual keyed lock on the other side, so they need a key to actually remove the bolt or bolt cutters. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if you got a bolt cutter, the lock doesn't matter. The one I ordered one off Amazon. It had pretty good reviews. I don't remember the company, but it's not Thule. But it is like basically you need like a different shaped type of wrench to be able to take it off. So yeah, but I'll keep that in mind. Jimra says at his office he's safe at the moment. They don't have many cases in the country, and the office is mostly empty because you can still choose to work from home, and most people do. Well, that's good. It's good. Hopefully it stays that way for you. Jeff Elliott says, I have prescription aviators, and I like them a lot. But on the longer, sweatier runs, they will start slipping and getting super annoying. Yeah, that's the thing, because like I have really bad vision. So like even when they do like the thinner lens technology on mine, the lenses get really heavy. And so like I think that's probably part of why even when I like am active in my prescription sunglasses, I just feel a lot more movement. So maybe that's what it is. Kevin Bickerton says, have you watched Ben's This Messy Happy's Iron Distance Race Vlog? Does make you wonder why you would sign up for an Ironman distance triathlon. You know what's funny? I didn't finish watching it, but I watched, I think, well, I watched as far as I watched far enough or not far enough to realize that basically I thought he was having a great day. And so after a while I was like, oh, this is boring. He trained for a race. He had a great race day and he did great at the race. That's kind of, I was like, oh, okay. Not that it was boring, but I was like, oh, this is uneventful. And then I ended up never finishing. I have a lot of videos that it takes me a couple of watches to finish. But I haven't gotten to the conclusion of it yet. So I'll have to watch the rest of it to see where things go wrong, because I thought he had like a perfect day. All right. Lacho says, any suggestion on shoes for heel strikers? Currently using New Balance 1080 version 11. I feel like that'd be a pretty good heel striker shoe. I also feel like the Ultra Boost is a great heel striker shoe because there's so much in there. The Nike Invincible, I don't necessarily consider to be a heel striker shoe. It's more of a midfoot striker shoe. But for me, I'm more of a forefoot striker. And I always feel like to get out of that shoe what it wants, I feel like I have to kind of lean back a little bit to get my foot to hit it kind of the right way. So that might be one to kind of look at as well. Yeah, those would be the places that I would start. Jong Bahoy says, will you host like a fun run for followers who's running this year's Chicago Marathon? Absolutely. So we'll do something, you know, I'll probably do what we've done before, which we meet over by the Chess Pavilion and then run downtown. And then we finish at the Bean, because it's a nice like photo op kind of thing. So that's probably what I'm thinking we'll do again. It ends up being like about 3 miles. So a good length, a distance to run. I'm trying to figure out some other things that we could do as well. That would be fun, but I'm trying to kind of figure that out. I'm also like getting nervous because of the way things are happening in the world, where it's like, well, I hope we still have the race, or like, I mean, are people going to be able to travel here to get to the race, or are they going to be able to go back after they travel here? You know, so there's a lot of things that I'm, concerned about that I don't have any control over. So I guess I shouldn't worry too much about them. It's really dark. So I guess I shouldn't worry too much about them, but lots of things to think about. All right, let's do a couple more. Although today, it's a nice balmy day today, so I don't have to rush to take the kids to the pool, but I think they are getting a little rowdy. So I do have to make sure that they are being supervised to some level. I mean, grandma's here, grandpa's here, but you know, I don't like to like pawn the kids off on grandma and grandpa too much. All right. Jay from LA is here. What's going on, Jay? Good to see you again. It's happy Friday. He's like, how do you like the Speed 2? Just bought 2 pairs of Speed 1. Any recommendations on tempo shoe run for my first full marathon? I having a hard time really figuring out what's the difference between the tempo, the Endorphin Speed 1 and the Endorphin Speed 2, which is really a good thing because the shoe was so good last year. So I think that having 2 pairs of the Speed 1 is a great thing to have. Recommendations for a tempo run shoe. I think the Endorphin Speed 1 is a great tempo shoe. I also really like the Hyperion Tempo. And there's a lot of shoes that I have that I think I need to do a little bit more running in before I can really recommend them like as wholeheartedly as I would recommend like the Endorphin Speed. Like I was about to say like the Boston 10, but like, you know, I've only run in it the one time, 10 miles. So like the feeling I'm going to end up loving that shoe. I really like it, but you know, it's very different than other Bostons because normally like Boston, Hyperion Tempo, Endorphin Speed, like those are ones that I recommend all the time. But also for your like tempo run shoes, you know, there's a lot of daily trainers that are faster, like the ones that are a little bit lower to the ground. I think all fit into that category, but there's also good all-arounders too. So like the Mach 4, the Nova Blast 2, those ones would also fit. But like also for lower to the ground, you've got like the Beacon 3. I think the Flow Velocity Wind would also be good too. So there's a lot of great options this year. Yeah, Jeff says he thinks that races will still go in August. I agree with that. And it's the November timeframe that looks more iffy now, which is when his full marathon is. Well, you know, I think for reference, you know, with Chicago, Lollapalooza is this week or this weekend. And so like that's a big event where people are going to be traveling from all over the place. And it's an outdoors event, but like people are really packed in close. So I think it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with that. Also in about a month, school will be starting again too. So like, you know, some kind of like as weird as you don't want to think about it that way. These are some kind of like, let's not say experiments, but maybe some test cases, things to keep an eye out for when we start really combining people together again. So like, yeah, it's you know, I'm kind of holding my breath, so to speak, for like the next like month and a half or so, which pretty much brings us right to when the Chicago Marathon is. So, yeah. Adam says there's an outbreak from the All-Star Weekend in Denver. Oh, is there really? I didn't hear about that. See, my theory is that we're not going to really hear about those kind of like outbreaks, you know, these things that people think are maybe spreader events. Really, we're not really going to hear because people go somewhere and then they go back to where they're from, and then maybe they're spreading it from where they go back home to. But, you know, it's not like people are doing contact tracing still, or that we ever really did as a country here in the US. So it's like, you know, no one really knows for sure, I think. All right. Run for Fun says, any athletes that you're looking forward to watching in the marathon races in the Olympics? Well, I mean, the Americans basically are the ones that I'm looking forward to seeing in the marathon. Of course, like Kipchoge is someone that if he's in a marathon, he's someone you're watching, of course. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see what the extra year did to Abdi because he's older than I am. Not that I'm so old, and not that he's so old, but like, you know, when they talk about like an extra year of delay, you know, he's someone that comes to mind. But then again, basically like half of his career, people have been saying like, oh, that guy's still around? Yeah, he's getting old. So, you know, he just defies age. And then it'll be interesting to see. Jake Riley seems to have been putting in a lot of really good work. And then Galen has been interesting because, I mean, you know, the 10,000 meters is not his specialty, but like, you know, he ran the 10K, the 10,000 meters at the track trials, and then he ran the 10K in Atlanta. which, you know, I'm sure like the race plan for him on that day was not to try and win the event, even if he thought he could, but still, like, you know, he didn't, I don't know what place he came in, but he didn't come in first. He didn't come in second. I don't know other than that. So like, you know, it'll be interesting to see which Galen Rupp shows up to the Olympics. And then from the women's side, very excited to see how Alafine is doing postpartum, to see how Molly Seidel does. You know, like she's just so like a regular runner. I mean, you know, people say relatable about runners a lot, which I think many of the runners are relatable, but like she just seems like that person that you know who happens to be like an Olympian. I don't know her, but like she just seems like that. And then to see what Sally Kipyego is going to do too. So like those are the people that I kind of am tracking. I'm very, you know, ethnocentric in a way. So, all right. Sorry, I've been rambling on when you guys have been talking about stuff. Jeff Elliott says Sturgis is coming around again. Yes, it is. Yes. My sister-in-law, they've been trying to plan a family vacation. They're like, oh, should we go to South Dakota? And they're like, oh, wait, never mind. The weekend we want to go is the weekend of Sturgis. So they're like, probably not a really great family vacation option. All right. Adam Fear says Ragbri. Yeah, Ragbri is this week. So the ride across Iowa is this week. My brother-in-law and his wife, my sister-in-law and her husband, they did, I think, a couple days of it this year. They did it on the really hot days. It was just some ridiculously hot and humid days. It's cooled off now, but I think it ends soon. Is it ended? I'm not actually sure. But yeah, it's going on right now. Mark Ingham says, hey, Co, any hobbies or passions outside of endurance sports that you're pursuing this summer? Not really. I mean, triathlon training takes up a lot of time. So doesn't really leave me much other than that. My basic goal is to be like the best summer camp counselor ever to like my kids and my nieces and nephews. And so like, I'm trying to get them to go to the pool, not get them to go, but like, you know, be available to take them to the pool, get them together so they can hang out, take them on hikes, you know, take them to parks and stuff like that, and just have basically the best summer ever. So that's like my main objective for the summer. So, cause you know, this is my first summer, like not having to work. I got a regular job. So trying to feel like, well, how do I best use my time in that? And so that's kind of like what's been occupying me, other than like this week, I'll probably hit closer to like 13 hours of training, which is a lot. And yesterday I only swam for 30 minutes. So it's going to be a high amount of time for this triathlon training stuff. Jeff Elliott wants to know, are there hobbies outside of endurance sports? I think the thing is with endurance sports, like there's not a lot of room time-wise for other, because they do occupy a lot of time. One thing that I would like to, I'm thinking about doing is at New Wine Park, which is very close, just down the street over here. I took the kids for a hike there the other day, and they were like, what are these baskets? I'm like, you guys don't know what that is? No. And they're disc golf baskets. So I'm like, all right, we totally have to do this course one day. It's a small course. It's not the most challenging one. I've never done it, but like I followed the course for like 4 or 5 of the holes because it's kind of parallels where I run. But I feel like, for the kids, I think that might be super fun for them to do. So like I've been meaning to order a set of disc golf discs so the kids could try that out. So like maybe disc golf will be part of it. And then, you know, then I can then I could go with Ben Barrows and do some disc golfing. Although I'm sure he's like is really, really good at it. All right, let's do a couple more. Adam Pierce says triathlons do take a lot of time. It's easier training for a 100-miler. I don't do it either anymore because of kids. Yeah. But Remy says, isn't it awesome though? It is pretty awesome. I am really enjoying it. I'm I'm tolerating the cycling at the moment. I'm hoping that it will click for me. The swimming I'm struggling with a lot, but I'm enjoying that struggle, you know. So I like that. So Frank says, so my brother-in-law has a bike. Yeah, they have many bikes. My brother, both of my brothers-in-law have multiple bikes. The one brother-in-law that did parts of RAGBRAI, he's got like 4 or 5. He's got a fat bike, he's got a road bike, he's got a mountain bike, but he's much taller than I am. I don't think I would fit on any of his bikes. Same with my other brother-in-law. He has a couple bikes, but he's just way taller than me. So I just don't think I would fit. Duke BB22 says, a good putter is the key to disc golf. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, there was a time in like right around college and a little bit after college where I got really into disc golf, and I had like a driver and a putter and stuff like that. And I was like, this is a lot of stuff. Like three disc golf discs was a lot of stuff for me at the time. So yeah, maybe it's time to get back into it. I feel like that's a fun thing that I could do with the kids. So yeah. And Remy says, you need a couple of bikes. I would not mind having a couple of bikes. I'm having a hard time buying one bike. And then I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to store all these bikes. So my wife and I were kind of like joking around yesterday of like, we just need to like, well, maybe we'll just buy a house around here in Iowa so we could just store all our stuff, our like summer stuff here. Or maybe we'll just get a storage unit out here so we can store, because we're like still have a lot of stuff in grandma and grandpa's house and like in their garage, and so they've had to rent a storage unit. We told them we're switching that around in a little bit, but yeah, they insisted that we just store some of our stuff in their garage, and then they were like, oh yeah, we just moved one of our cars to a storage unit. So I was like, no, that's not a great idea. But yeah, so I wouldn't mind having a couple of bikes. And then I was like, well, if we did live out here, I don't think we're going to live out here, but if we did, I'm like, my brothers-in-law, they all kayak as well. Like, that'd be kind of fun. I wouldn't mind having a stand-up paddleboard. So like, there's some outdoor activity stuff that I think would become more interesting if I lived closer to it and had access. I mean, we have a car now, so I guess that makes it a little bit easier to access some of that stuff, but also a place to store all those things. All right. Scotty says you can get a co-storage unit. It's a real company. It's a good sponsorship opportunity there, maybe. All right. Yeah, Mark Ingham says like maybe look up some of your colleagues from your past life. Maybe they have a new $4,000 plus bike and would offload one to you for $1,000 to $2,000. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty popular. A lot of trial lawyers tend to gravitate towards triathlon. I know that several are involved in the sport in a variety of age groups. So maybe, but I have a feeling that those guys probably aren't in a hurry to, or don't have any need to get rid of any bikes. So I'm not that concerned about it. But at this point, it's kind of like, right, you dance with the date you came with, or is that how that phrase goes? It's a really, really strange phrase, but I'm like, if I've trained all this time on, not that I've trained a bunch, but if I've done all this training on the Walmart bike, it would be fitting to do the race on it. But, I also want to like, I don't want like me to, if I have a bad experience of it, to have like, well, it's because I really didn't like, approach it properly. Like it's one thing not to have like the best gear. I'm fine with that. I don't need to have like the best top of the line gear to be able to have a good time, but I just want to make sure that I'm not like, one, disrespecting the sport, or two, like setting myself up for a unnecessarily difficult time. So that's what I'm thinking. All right. I think that's a good place to end it for today, guys. Sorry, there's like a giant lawnmower coming by. Friday is a very popular day in this neighborhood for lawn mowing. And once one person mows lawn, everyone's got to mow lawn. So lawnmowers are going to be going on for a long time. But that's going to be and so another good reason to end it for here today. Tomorrow's video, we're going to talk about the endorphin speed 2. And then it's a weekend, so go out there, get your long runs in. We won't have any more live streams till Monday. Monday we'll be back in Chicago, I'm pretty sure. And so if we're back in Chicago, I got some stuff at home that is waiting for a Monday mukbang appearance, so we'll do that on Monday as well. All right, guys, so enjoy your weekends out there. Be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.